Before we start, I would like to thank Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is where a lot of creatives go to when they want to expand their knowledge and to learn new things. Or if you are curious like me or want to learn something new, Skillshare is the perfect place to start a new skills they offer with thousands of inspiring classes. If you would like to try Skillshare, there's a link in the description box, and the first 1,000 people to use the link or my code Crochetbybev will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. As for the moment, I am into adult coloring, collecting coloring books and art materials, including sets of colored pencils. And the lesson I am taking right now is working with colored pencils by Jasmina Susak, a pencil artist. And this lesson is all about colored pencils, understanding more about it, how to use them to create realistic coloring techniques, blending, and many more. This lesson inspired me and helped me being more creative. So if you would like to be creative and discover a new skills, in the description below, there's the link in there to try Skillshare and find the perfect lessons for you. And don't forget my code Crochetbybev to get your free trial. Enjoy and have fun. Now let's move on to the tutorial. Hello everyone, it's Crochetbybev. Welcome to my channel. For this video tutorial, we're going to make this top. This top is made to measure. You just need at least half of your bust measurement to begin your first panel, and then half of your bust measurement for your next panel. So this top is made of 2 panels that are identical, and the stitch pattern is a 2-row repeat, so it's very easy. So the name of the stitch pattern is the star stitch or Marguerite stitch. So it's very beautiful stitch. I really like it. This top is very simple to make. We're just going to make the 2 panels, then sewing them together, making the ribbing and the armhole borders and the neckline, and then you are done with your top. For your reference, my top is 19 inches wide. So my top is wider than my half of my bust measurement. So I made it 19 inches wide. So you can make it wider also than your half of your bust measurement to make your first panel. Or you can make it a bit smaller if you want it to make it fitted, and wider if you want it a bit oversized. So this is 19 inches. It is 48.5 centimeter, and at the top it is 16 inches. It is 40.5 centimeters, and the length, it is 16 inches long, including the ribbing, and this is 40.5 centimeters. Okay, so this is my top. So I'm wearing a medium, and this is a bit wider for me. You can measure yourself also, so you will know how wide or how long you want for your top. Okay, for the pattern, it is 2-row repeat, and it is a multiple of 2 plus 1 or any odd number. For the materials, I use an Amigo XL acrylic yarn from Hobbii and 6mm hook. And this is number 4 medium weight yarn. So you can avail this in Hobbii, and you can use also any kind of yarn you want to make this top. Alright, so I'm going to show you first how to make your first panel. So we're going to start with the chains. For the pattern is a multiple of 2 plus 1 or any odd number. So important is just need to make small swatches to know how many chains you're going to make for your top. So I'm going to make only 15 chains for the swatches, or to show you how to do the stitch pattern. Okay, so when you are done with your chains, now we're going to start the pattern for our first row to make this stitch with the eye. They call it eye, this. So we're going to insert our hook. So make your last chain a bit loose. So you can insert your hook there. So make it a bit loose. Insert your hook into the back of your chain. So this is the chain to the back. You can see this little bump here. Insert your hook in there. and grab a yarn. You can count your loops, 1, 2. So you do this 4 more times. So we're going to put 4 loops into our hook. So 1, 2. We can count 1, 2, and then at the back, this is the chain. At the back, this is the small bump there. Insert our hook in there and grab a yarn. Now we have 3, another 4, 5, 6. Okay, so important your chains, you make it a bit loose so you can insert your hook very easy. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so you have now 6 loops in your hook. So you're going to grab a yarn and pull all into that loops together, and then make a chain to close the eye of your first stitch. Now we are done our first eye, they call it eye, this stitch. So we're going now to continue. To continue, we're going to count this, our first loop, 1, and then insert your hook here into the eye, and then count your loop. We have now 2, and then next here and the side of your stitch, this, insert hook in there, grab a yarn. So you have now 3 loops on the hook, and then the next we're going to insert our hook into the last chain or last stitch here. Insert your hook in there and grab a yarn. So you have now 1, 2, 3, 4. So here it's in the same stitch or same chain. Okay, so we have now 4 loops, and then next we can take here, insert your hook into the next chain. You have 5 loops into the next chain, insert hook, grab a yarn. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 loops, and then pull all into that loops, and then chain 1 to close. So you have now 2 eye completed. Okay, so again, count this as your first loop. 1, insert your hook into the eye. You have 2 loops, insert your hook into the side of your stitch here. So only 1 loop, insert your hook, then grab a yarn. You have 3 loops, and then we're going to insert our hook into the chain from the last chain that we worked here into the same chain. Grab a yarn in there. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 loops, and next we're going to insert here into the next chain, new chain. This is a new chain. Okay, 5, then new chain, next chain, 6. Okay, so when you have 6 loops on your hook, grab a yarn and pull all into that loops, and then chain 1 to close your stitches. So you have now 1, 2, 3. Again, count this. 1, insert your hook into the eye. 2, insert your hook into the side of your last stitch. 3, insert your hook into your last chain that you work. 4, insert your hook into the new chains or into this next chain. 5, insert your hook into the new chain, next chain. 6. So you have now 6 loops on your hook. Grab a yarn and pull all into that loops and chain 1 to close. So you have now 1, 2, 3, 4 eye. So continue doing this. So always count this your first, and then into the eye, 2 into the side, 3 into the last stitch or last chain, 4 into the next new chain, 5 next new chain, 6, and then pull all into that loops and then chain 1 to close. Then count again first this and then continue. So I'm now here into the last. So for the last stitch, Okay, do your last stitch like this. So this is the last stitch. Then chain 1 to close, and then we're going to make half double crochet into the same chain here, the last chain. So yarn over and do your half double crochet, and you are done your first row. Okay, so this is your first row. So we're going to do our second row, chain 2, turn, and then this chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch. Okay, do your first stitch into the first stitch here, half double crochet, yarn over into the first stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, or in this eye we're going to make only one half double crochet. Okay, so we're going to skip this stitch on top of the eye. We're going to work into the eye, next eye, 2 half double crochet. Okay, 2 half double crochet inside in this eye. So always remember, put 1 half double crochet into your first stitch, 1 half double crochet only into the first eye, and into the next eye, 2 half double crochet. Then continue putting 2 half double crochet in each eye. So this, you can see this eye, put 2 half double crochet in there. Okay, here into the last eye, put also 2 half double crochet, and if you can see this side, this is a stitch, so you're going to put 1 half double crochet in there, and you are done your second row. To repeat the rows, you're going to repeat row 1. So now we are working with the stitches, the normal stitches, so not a chain. So to do this, we're going to make a chain 3, turn, and I'm going to work now into the second chain from my hook, this, so not into the first chain. So I'm going to work here into the second chain from my hook, 1 2 3, second chain is this. So I'm going to work there, insert my hook in there, then grab a yarn. So now we're going to work again the eye, so 1 2. Okay, so insert your hook into your first chain. You have now 3 loops on your hook, and insert your hook into your first stitch. You have 4, insert your hook into the next stitch. You have 5, insert your hook into your next stitch. You have 6 loops on your hook. Then grab all your loops, then chain 1 to close your stitch. So you have now your first stitch done. So this is the first eye that you made. So continue making this. So count this 1, insert hook into the eye, grab a yarn, 2, insert hook into the side of your stitch, grab a yarn, you have 3 loops, insert your hook into the last stitch, into the same stitch, grab a yarn, 4 loops, insert your hook into the next stitch or new stitch, this is new, 5, next stitch, insert your hook, 6, and then grab all and pull all that loops and chain 1 to close. Okay, again, 1 into the eye, 2 into the side, 3 into the same stitch, 4 next stitch, 5 next stitch, 6. Okay, so continue doing this into all the stitches, and then into your last stitch, half double crochet. Okay, here into your last stitch, you can chain 1 to close your stitch, and then make a half double crochet into the same stitch here, half double crochet, and you are done your repeat row 1. Okay, then for the next row, you just need to repeat your row 2, the all half double crochet. So we're going to chain 2, third doesn't count as a stitch, make your first half double crochet here into the first stitch, half double crochet crochet here into the next stitch or in this eye. So only one half double crochet here into the first eye. Into the next eye, 2 half double crochet. Okay, so repeat row 2, work into the eye of the stitches. So 2 here, so only one the first, only one here, then 2. So continue putting 2 half double crochet all into the eye of your stitches. Then here into your last stitch, or you can see this, the side, the turning chain, put half double crochet in there. And then continue repeating your row 1, this eye row. Okay, so chain 3 again, chain 3, then into your second chain from your hook, insert your hook in there, then grab a yarn. So count this 1, 2, next chain or your first chain 3, and then your first stitch 4, next stitch 5, next stitch 6, then grab and pull, chain 1 to close, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so continue making your stitch pattern to make your panels until you reach here at least half the measurement or the length of your top, and then we're going to make the decrease for the armhole. Okay, so continue doing this pattern until you reach at least half the length of your top, and then you're going to make the decrease for the armhole. Okay, so I hope it's clear now how to do the stitch pattern, the star stitch. Okay, so just continue making your rows, a few more rows, then when you reach at least half the length of your top, we're going to make the decrease. Okay, so it's very easy or simple stitch pattern. Just repeat row 1, then row 2, the all half double crochet, then repeat row 1, row 2, and then when you reach here, we're going to make the decrease. Okay, all right, so when you are done a few rows or at least half the measurement of your top, now we're going to make the decrease for the armhole. Or if you want a smaller armhole, you can make few more rows before the decrease. For your reference, my top, I want it to be 16 inches long. So I put here 1.5 inches for the ribbing allowance. So this is a total of 16 inches, and half of 16 inches is 8 inches. So I made my decrease here to create my armhole. So it's up to you. If you want a smaller armhole, you can do more rows before the decrease. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to make the decrease. For the decrease, I put only 2 inches here, and the other side 2 inches. You can count also the eye, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I put my marker here, and then count also in this side, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I put my marker in there. So this is the decrease for my top. So if you want a smaller one, you can do that also, or more open arm, you can make it wider also, the decrease. Okay, so this is only 13 rows, and then for my 14th row, I'm going to make the decrease. So I put my marker here. You can count into the eye for your reference, and then I'm going to start at the wrong side because this is my 13th row facing the right side. So I'm going to work here at the wrong side to make my 14th row. So I'm going to insert my yarn here. And one more thing, you should stop to make the decrease in the repeat row 1 or this row, and then to make the decrease, I made the repeat row 2 here, so the half double crochet. So insert your yarn here in the eye and start. So it's the same way to start. We're going to start the half double crochet here. So make a chain 2 first for the turning chain, and then put a half double crochet into the first eye that you are inserted your yarn, and then into the next eye put half double crochet. So it's the same, only one half double crochet here into the next eye. Okay, and then here, so it's the same, into the next eye put 2 half double crochet. So this is the same as the pattern in our first rows. 1/2 double crochet into the first stitch, 1/2 double crochet into the eye, and then into the next eye 2 half double crochet, and then just continue putting 2 half double crochet into the eye of your stitches. And then when you reach here, it's the same also to make the last stitch. When you put your last 2 eye here, and then put 1 half double crochet here into the last eye or into your mark stitch. Okay, so it's going to be look like that. 2 half double crochet, then put 1 half double crochet here. So instead you put in this, you can put in this eye. Okay, so I'm here now in my last 2 eyes. So 2 half double crochet here, and then here into your mark stitch 1 half double crochet. And then just continue your stitches. So repeat row 1, so chain 3 for me, then turn, then continue your stitches. Okay, so continue your stitches. Just repeat row 1 and row 2, and then later I'm going to show you how to make the decrease for the neckline. So just continue few more rows. You can stop here at least 4 more rows before the final row, or at least 2 inches or 1.5 before finishing your row, okay, or before finishing the length of your top. Okay, so I put here, so I made my decrease for my neckline or for the shoulder, 4 more rows before finishing my rows. Okay, so you can stop in there or make it 1.5, it's up to you. And then I'm going to show you it's the same also how to do the decrease. So I stop here, the repeat row 2, then I make the decrease, repeat row 1. So it's okay also to stop in repeat row 1, then start your decrease, repeat row 2. Okay, so I just continue my rows here, and then I'm going to show you how to do the decrease in this part to make the neckline or shoulder. So we're going to make 2 of these. Okay, for your reference, I stop my last stitch here also on top of the turning chain. So 1 half double crochet in there, and then chain 2, then continue your repeat row 2, the half double crochet, put 1 here again. So it's the same, put 1 here, then 1 into the eye, and then 2 half double crochet into the next eye. Okay, so it's really the same stitch pattern from the beginning. Alright, so now I'm here in my decrease for the shoulders. I'm going to show you. So I have a total of 28 rows. So I need more 4 rows to finish my top. And now I'm going to make the decrease here. So it's up to you how long more you need to make your top until the shoulder part. So before you reach your shoulder or your last row, you need to make the decrease. So this is my decrease. So I count the eye 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then I put in there, and then I count also here 1 2 3 4 5 6, and I put in there. I just use the eye as guide to make my decrease, so I didn't count. You can count also the stitches. So it's, and I stop here the half double crochet row or the repeat row 2. You can stop also in repeat row 1, you can do that, but I prefer stop in repeat row 2. So I have straight stitches here in the middle for my neckline. Alright, for your reference, I'm going to make the decrease or for the shoulder only 3.5 inches, and here only 3.5 inches also. Okay, and you just count the eye and then put your marker in there, and you can do also 4 inches or lesser than 3.5. You can do that also, as long as the neckline, the middle, is more wider than your shoulder part. Okay, so the pattern is really the same. So you just continue here, and then you're just going to stop here and then continue your rows until you done the height of your top and then you're going to start here to make the other side. Okay, so I'm going to continue here, and it's the same pattern. So now I'm making the repeat row 1. So I'm going to make a chain 3 and start my stitches. Okay, so I'm now here in my mark stitch. So I put my last stitch there, half double crochet, and then just continue your next row. So it's really the same stitch pattern to make here. So just continue making your rows to finish your first side, and then we're going to continue in the other side. Okay, so now I'm going to finish this, then I'm going to show you the other side. Alright, so I'm done my last row and I finished the repeat row 2, all half double crochet. So it's better to finish in there so you have straight stitches or line for the shoulder. And when you are done your last row, just chain 1 and then leave at least a long tail enough to sew your panels together. So I already did here, so I'm not going to leave a long tail in my second panel. Okay, so just finish your side. Then we're going to start here. Okay, to start here in the other side, you must facing the right side of your panel. So just insert your yarn here into the stitch mark and then just begin here. So I'm now making the repeat row 1. I'm going to make a chain 3 and then start my repeat row 1 stitch. Okay, so just continue your stitches here in this side. It's really the same also. Just stop here when you do your next row. Make your 1 half double crochet on top of your last stitch. Okay, so finish your other side and then just leave a long tail also for your first panel and then make your second panel. Okay, so I'm going to finish this, and then later when I'm done here, I'm going to show you how to sew the panels together when you are done your 2 panels. Okay. Okay, so when you are done your 2 panels, now we're going to sew them together. So first, put your first panel into the right side out, right side facing up, and then the wrong side facing down. And then your next panel, second panel, your right side should be facing down and the wrong side is facing out or facing you. So the good side are facing each other like that. And then start sewing the shoulders and then sewing the sides. Okay, so I'm going to use my yarn needle and my left long tail. You can use also your hook and do a slip stitch if you prefer that. So I'm going to use this, and then I'm going to start here. I'm going to flip and then just start sewing your shoulder first and then the sides. Okay, so I'm going to finish sewing all this, and then we're going to do the hem part. Okay, so it's going to look like that. So just continue sewing the shoulder and the sides, and then we're going to continue. Okay. Alright, so when you are done sewing your panels, now we're going to make the hem part or the ribbing. So I'm going to start here. Just insert your yarn in the corner so your panel is in the good side. Okay, so insert your yarn here and then start by chaining. This, it's up to you how long you want for your ribbing. So for me it's 1.5 inch. So I'm going to chain here 6 chains. And then into the second chain from my hook, so I'm going to make a single crochet, then single crochet into the rest of the chains. So now I have only 5 stitches, and then into your next stitch, just slip stitch, and then next stitch is slip stitch. To proceed for our next row, turn your work then into the back loop. So we're going to make a single crochet into the back loop only, okay, to make our ribbing. So don't be confused with your slip stitch in there, these 2 slip stitch. So make your first stitch here into the back loop of your last stitch. So here into the back loop, make a single crochet, into the back loop, single crochet, into the back loop, single crochet. Okay, so make sure you have the same count of stitches. For me it's only 5 stitches. And then here you're going to make a chain 1 for your turning chain, doesn't count as a stitch, turn your work. And then here into your last stitch, make your single crochet into the back loop only. Okay, so do this all the way around to your top. So here to proceed into your next stitch, slip stitch. You can see the gap between your stitches. If it's too tight or too tight for your single crochet between your stitches, here you can adjust also, okay? Or if it's too loose, you can make it tight also your slip stitch here. Okay, so into your next stitch, slip stitch to proceed for your next row, doesn't count as a stitch, turn your work into the back loop only, a single crochet. Okay, continue doing your single crochet into the back loop, just chain 1 there, and then continue your single crochet into the back loop only all the way around into your hem part, and then finish here, then just sew your ribbing to connect each other. Okay, so make your ribbing all the way around, just continue doing your single crochet into the back loop only. And then when you are done here, we're going to do the armhole border. So we're going to make also a ribbing or the single crochet into the back loop only. Okay, so finish your hem, then we're going to do the next part. Alright, so when you are done your ribbing, now we're going to make the armhole border. So I already done here on this side. So what I'm gonna do is it's totally the same, the single crochet back loop only ribbing. So insert your yarn here, the corner, bottom corner, and then start your stitch here. So I'm going to make 4 chains. So only 3 stitches here for the single crochet back loop only. So in my ribbing it's 5 stitches. So I'm going to make only 3. So I made only 3 stitches here for my armhole ribbing. So it's not too wide. Okay, so insert your yarn here and start your stitch. I'm going to make a chain 4 and then single crochet into the second chain from the hook. So it's really the same. We're going to work a single crochet into the back loop only. So just slip stitch here and into the next stitch to work your next row, and single crochet into the back loop only into the stitches, and chain 1 and turn and single crochet into the back loop only. So it's totally the same. So we're going to do this all the way around to the armhole, and I'm going to do also the same into my neckline. So I'm going to start here or anywhere you can start. Going to start in this part or the back, and then do your neckline border. So it's the same. So I'm going to do that also later when I'm done here. Single crochet into the back loop only. Okay, continue your single crochet into the back loop only all the way around to your armhole. So it's going to be look like this. Okay, you can see the gap of your stitches when you do your slip stitch to connect. You can see the gap if it's too wide or too close your stitches. Okay, so do your armhole borders or the ribbing, and then continue your neckline also. It's really the same. We're going to work also the single crochet back loop only all the way around. Okay, so probably I'm going to make also 3 stitches for my neckline border. Okay, so do your borders and then I'm coming back to show you the result. Alright, so I'm done making my armhole borders and the neckline. So this is how it look like. So it's really the same. I made also 3 stitches for my neckline. So they are the same size for my armhole borders, and this is the ribbing. Okay, so when you are done all the ribbings, just weave all your ends and you are done with your top. Hope you enjoy making this tutorial. You can tag me in my Instagram at Crochetbybev so I can share it also, your beautiful work there in my Instagram. And please continue to support this channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and tap the bell button so you will be notified for new video tutorials. And yeah, hope you enjoy and see you next time in my next video tutorial. Happy crochet everyone! Bye!